Namaskar, I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session. Yes, this is our online training session on the umbrella theme of integration of virtual labs in teaching learning phase 3. Well, when we say phase 3, we are specifically catering to our viewers from the famous Seven Sisters and One Brother state. Yes, we are talking about the northeastern part of the country, which includes states like Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tripura. So, this is the phase 3 of the training session. We are trying to cover all the parts of the country with this training program, but this particular assessment session is open to all. Anybody can watch these sessions and participate in the assessment activity. So in short, we can say that this session is open to all. So do watch all the sessions very carefully and do participate. I will let you know how to participate in the assessment activity, how you can register yourself, how you can participate and what all steps are required by the end of today's session. So this session of ours is live and interactive, which means you can participate in the session. Under this umbrella theme, yesterday we took the topic of virtual lab needs, perspective and scope. Today is day 2 of the session where we will be talking about virtual lab as a teaching learning tool for biology. So if you have any questions, any feedback or suggestion regarding this training program, feel always free to reach out to us. So what you can do, you can give us a call. Take down our phone number, which is 8800440559. And since you are watching these sessions on our different platforms like PM eVidya channels from 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube channel NCERT Official, you can always go to our YouTube channel in the comment section to put in your questions, your suggestions there. Apart from that, we also have a dedicated email ID for you, and that is diksha.training@ciet.nic.in. It is very important for us to receive your emails, to get in touch with you so that we can improve upon our training sessions and bring for you some more relevant content. And I think whatever doubts you must be having, you can just participate in the session by giving us a call as well. Now on day 2, since we are talking about biology, that how virtual labs are playing an important role in this context, we are joined by 2 experts. So let me introduce you all to them. So we are joined by Ms. Nidhi Adlakha Tuli. Ma'am is Senior Academic Consultant from CIET NCERT New Delhi. Ma'am, namaskar and welcome to the session.
Thank you.
We are also joined by Dr. Upasana Sharma. Ma'am is Academic Consultant from CIET NCERT New Delhi. Ma'am, namaskar and welcome to the session.
Namaskar. Thank you.
Now, we all know that virtual labs, they are a very important part, or I would say a tool to make science education popular, and not just science education, because we also talk about mathematics and languages also. So there's a lot more that is of course waiting to come your way, and you can take the advantage of it. But if we talk about the basic reason or the motto why we are conducting these training sessions, so I have to say that online training on integration of virtual labs in teaching learning phase 3 covers NEP, that is National Education Policy 2020 recommendations for digital education, particularly for virtual labs, their significance and scope. Further relevance of virtual labs for teaching learning of different subjects across curriculum will be presented to you in the days to come. And now let's just start this wonderful session where we all are excited how they are making a difference in the teaching learning of the subject biology. So Upasana ma'am, let's start with you. We all have been listening about these virtual labs and we have been seeing demonstrations as well. Now before we straight away talk about the virtual lab experience, it is very important for us to know that how labs are really significant when it comes to teaching and learning of any subject, but here today specifically biology.
Labs play a very crucial role in teaching and learning of biology. It enhances the deeper understanding of concept. Labs generally promote hands-on experiences, experiential learning. It provides the deeper understanding of concepts and ideas which a learner can actually test in the lab. For example, a learner can test what is the effect of pollutant on the ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Our biology labs can help in facilitating the experimentation and exploration of various experiments. For example, if a learner want to explore cell and cell division, then a learner can explore it much better under the
yes.
microscope. It also develop scientific temper. Basic of a scientific temper is the habit of curiosity. If a learner is curious, then a learner definitely try to understand the reason behind the various phenomena which are taking place.
Yes, yes.
Like what amount of water is required, the intensity of light is required in the growth of the plant. A learner will try to understand the reason behind the various phenomena taking place in the environment. Labs help in the developing the critical thinking in the decision making power of the learner. A learner will decide how much amount of particular reagent is required in doing a particular experiment.
Yes.
Labs also help in developing certain lab skill. A learner do various kind of activities in the lab. A learner do peeling, mounting, slicing, hydration, dehydration. A learner will use microscope. A learner will learn how to use a pipette, how to measure a liquid by using pipette. A learner will use how to handle a glassware, how to handle various equipments of the lab. Basically, a learner do hands-on practice of various things. That's why our biology lab are very important in developing the deeper understanding of theoretical principles of biology.
Right. So, Upasana ma'am, you rightly pointed out that science is a subject or any branch of it. Basically, it is based on logical reasoning and experimentation. So, unless and until you are there in the laboratory performing experiments, you won't be able to get the right idea of what it is and what it is leading to.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
Of course, you said it rightly that to enhance the critical thinking, analytical thinking, we need to perform experiments, we need to be there, we need to identify the equipments, we need to get familiarized with them so that we do not damage them and we do not also make any damage to our own self. Now, we all know about the real physical laboratories. We know about its relevance. I still remember that as a child, when we were in class 9 or so, and we were about to enter this lab of biology, God only knows why we were imagining that we will get a chance to dissect a mouse or a frog at such an early stage. So, we all know that how exciting it is to be a part of some experiment to enter the laboratory. So, we all are familiar with that. But today we're talking about these virtual laboratories. So Nidhi ma'am, here I want to ask you that we all know about the real physical laboratories, but what about the relevance of these virtual labs?
Yes, like already we have discussed about that how physical labs are so important.
Yeah.
How they help us in honing our skills, critical thinking skills, science process skills also. But definitely that shows that physical lab experience is indispensable.
Yes, yes.
But we know that each and every child is not getting that experience because of lack of infrastructure or resources. And that's why NEP 2020 recommended setting up of virtual labs because they are available online.
Yes.
And for that we do not require physical infrastructure or resources or chemicals. We do not require all those things. And that's why each and every child can get the opportunity to experience that how the experiment can be performed, what all steps are there, and they will also get the opportunity to hone their skills. And that's the relevance of virtual labs. So as I have shown here also that there are many things which are catered by virtual labs. So one of the thing I have just discussed is equity, that we are being fair if we are providing opportunity to each and every learner to perform experiment, to get that experience. And also it virtual labs provides or promotes inclusivity, because inclusivity and accessibility, because not every child Means there are certain children who are divyang and they face certain difficulties when they perform experiment. They want to perform each and every experiment, but if they find it difficult to do because of their some kind of disability, if they are not able to hold the apparatus properly, or if they are not able to move from one place to another, so they find it difficult to perform the experiment. But in case of virtual labs, because all the experiments are available online, they just need to use mouse, and by using mouse they can drag and drop and perform each and every step, and can get to know that what all steps are required to lead to a result and why they are getting that result. So they get that opportunity with the help of virtual labs. Along with that, because we are not required to build a complete physical lab, we do not require all the resources physically. So that's why it is cost effective also. Once the content is developed, it will be required to be updated in some time, after every some time I should say. But in continuation, we do not require to spend. We do not require expend. We do not do expend. We do not expend. We do not spend money, and that's why it's cost effective. Then along with that, I'm so sorry. So along with that, the child gets personalized learning.
You're right. Of course, the child gets personalized learning, and it is very customized also. We all know that virtual labs are indeed making a great difference to the teaching learning of science subjects. And today, since we're talking in the context of biology, and you also mentioned some of the very important points: equity, inclusivity, cost effective. Now, that's awesome.
So we were talking about, like Harpreet also discussed further, that yes, personalized learning is the most important thing, and that is focused nowadays, and for that virtual labs are also working, and how it is providing personalized learning. Student can perform experiment anywhere at any time at their own pace, and because of that, when we are not bound to perform something in a limited time, we get that freedom. So we feel comfortable, we understand in a better way, we understand each and everything, and that helps in better learning, and that's how it promotes personalized learning. Then it is user friendly. The interface is user friendly. We will show you, we will demonstrate certain experiments, and you will see that the interface gives all the information which is required to perform the experiment, and you can perform each and every step even if you are trying it for the very first time. So the interface is user friendly, and that's how all these things make virtual labs useful for each and every learner.
Right.
But along with that, yes, that's not enough. We should talk about that how we can reach virtual labs. If we are talking about that virtual labs are so important, the navigation is very important. So I would like to show you that on the Diksha portal, you can easily reach virtual labs. Here you can see, first of all, you have to go to diksha.gov.in. Then you have to scroll down. When you scroll down, you can see there are focus areas. So one of the focus area is virtual lab. When you click on this, you get this page. And when you scroll down further, you get to know that what is the basic information, why virtual labs was established, then what all classes, for what all classes the resources are available. When you click on explore, you can see that the medium appears. When you click on the medium, like here I have clicked on English medium, so the subjects have appeared. So for these subjects, the resources are available. You can click on any subject, and when you click on the subject, you will see that a table of content appears. That means all the experiments which are there in the lab manual, they appear here. When you click on any of the experiment, you see that what all resources are available for that particular experiment. So here we can see that first of all, experiment PDF is given. All of you have hard copy, but sometimes children do not have hard copy. So if they do not have that, they can get this as a digital copy here. So the entire experiment is given as a digital copy. Then you can go to the next resource, that is theory. So more information for the same experiment is given, because for understanding the experiment, why something is happening, you must have the background information.
Yes.
So you must read theory first of all, then you must go and you must read each and every steps which you should perform, because once you get to know that these are the steps, then only you can think that why am I doing this?
True.
Why am I doing this particular step before the other step? So then you start thinking.
Absolutely.
After that, video is also provided. So to enhance your understanding, you can go through the video also. So once you have read theory, you have got the background information. But as we use more senses, we understand better. So this will enhance your understanding. Then you can go to simulation. And here you get the chance to perform the entire experiment. And the last thing we have is self-evaluation. So as you have studied about this experiment, you must get to know that what all you have understood, whether there is something which is left, whether you require to go through this again, or you have understood it very well. So that you can get to know by answering these, and you can go to the next. I am just randomly answering, and you can see that if the answer is right, it shows green with tick mark. If the answer is wrong, it shows cross. So like this, you get to know whether you have understood it or not, and if not, you can repeat it infinite times. So
Right.
that's, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for explaining that so nicely. I mean, I have really understood that virtual labs are offering a lot more advantages, since you mentioned they're cost effective and they, of course, more accessible. There are a lot of resources, no dirt to the same, and of course it promotes inclusivity also. Because when we talk about National Education Policy 2020, its recommendations and guidelines, we're clearly talking about equity and inclusivity in education, as well as we're talking about blended learning. Now, virtual lab, and of course we landed on the Diksha portal as well, where we saw that how these labs work and what is the design like. And what I figured out here, that you're not only performing experiments, you get to know or read about experiments beforehand. You perform them, and simultaneously you're also getting feedback. So even if there is no teacher in front of you, you still know whether you're doing it right or wrong. I mean, it's the kind of self-learning material that is right there in front of you in digital format. But when it comes to performing experiments and having this hands-on experience of visiting a laboratory and performing the experiments with your own hands, it gives you a different kind of high. It helps you to enhance your experimentation skills as well. So Upasana ma'am, like, I have get a fair idea of what virtual lab is like and how we're performing experiments. But I know myself that real physical laboratories, they enhance our experimentation skills as students. But virtual labs, are they also doing the same job, and that too equally effectively?
Yes, definitely. Virtual lab definitely enhance experimental skills, just like our physical lab,
Okay.
but they do so in a somewhat different way.
Okay.
For example, when we talk about virtual lab, or basically when we talk about lab, in lab what we generally do, a learner observe a certain experiment.
Yeah.
In physical lab, definitely a learner is observing anything live. He or she is checking the growth of the plant live.
Yeah.
In virtual lab, although the learner is not able to observe anything live, but a learner can play a certain experiment, can redo a certain experiment, can, in this way, if a learner is doing a certain experiment again and again, what a learner is actually doing, he or she is observing various dimensions of that particular experiment.
Right.
Every time he or she is noticing a different perspective of that experiment, which he might not be able to observe in a physical classroom.
Right.
Now, the second important thing is data recording. In physical lab, a learner is recording the data manually. In virtual lab, the recording facility is available online. It is inbuilt in the software.
Yes.
Lab basically help in doing in what we generally do, how we generally record the data. We record the theoretical concept into the measurable outcome.
Yes.
In virtual lab, the data is recorded in the form of inbuilt software tools. Now, the third important thing is controlling variable.
Yes.
in physical lab, although a learner definitely try to control all the variable, a student try to control the temperature, the pH, but in virtual lab, all these facility are inbuilt.
Right.
A learner try to control this extraneous variable which may affect the outcome of the experiment is inbuilt. So a learner need not to think how to control this extraneous variable. So the result which is actually a learner getting is the real effect of the independent variable onto the dependent variable, that is whatever the result is.
Absolutely.
And the another thing is data analysis. In the virtual lab there is various inbuilt tools, so the result which a learner is getting is not based on any intuition or any anecdotal record. The result which a learner is getting is basically depend upon the evidences. So the result is accurate, or I can say a learner can interpret that result in the field environment, in the actual experiment. A learner can actually apply those result, those outcome in the actual environment. So that knowledge is not only limited to the lab, a learner can actually use those laws, can apply those theoretical principle in the practical setup, in the practical environment.
True.
So I can say just like the physical lab, our virtual labs definitely enhance various experimental skill of a learner. It's a add-on with a physical lab.
Well, you mentioned some very important points, and what really has stuck with me is the point that controlling variables, which is not always possible when it comes to performing experiments in real physical laboratories. But in virtual setup, you have complete control over the externalities. You can control them, you can record your data very easily, you can perform the experimentations or experiments repeatedly, and you can get a strong foothold on the same. So this way we can say that yes, our experimentations are, skills are enhancing in a similar way as they're enhancing in the real physical laboratories.
Definitely, ma'am.
Since we're talking about blended learning, I'm sure that virtual labs are not replacing real physical laboratories.
Definitely.
They're just an add-on to it. You can say that they're complementing virtual labs. Now, if we talk about integrating virtual labs with routine teaching and learning, how do you think that they are actually complementing or supplementing to what real physical laboratories are doing right now?
Definitely, ma'am. Virtual lab helps a learner to integrate both the real, that is the actual world, and the online setup world. So our virtual labs are very important for a learner to get a somewhat extra help and an add-on with the physical lab experience what a learner is actually getting.
Right.
So in a three-way, a learner can take help from a virtual lab, that is before a particular experiment, during the particular session or an experiment, and a post-lab session. A teacher can use lab manual which are already present in the virtual lab. A teacher can use the various procedures. A teacher can tell the learner how to use virtual lab, how to use those manual in the practical setup.
Yes.
What are the various steps which a learner need to do? What are the method? What is exactly is the procedure? And also during the session, a learner can observe the physical lab results and can relate it with the online or the virtual lab result.
Right.
So a learner can compare both the result and can understand why I am getting this particular result, or why this result is showing in this way. And also post lab session, a learner can use various self evaluation or the assessment tools which are available in the virtual lab to assess, oh actually I have learned the 80% of the content, now the 20% of the content I am a little confused, I need to redo that thing. So a learner can redo an experiment, then also self evaluate, okay, so this much I have learned. I would like to demonstrate this further with a experiment.
Okay.
Okay, so this is an experiment of last 7th.
Okay. And this is regarding what?
Ma'am, this is related with the how to wait a second, ma'am. Okay, So this is related the mechanism of breathing. So as you can see, this experiment consists of the first thing what is present is the manual. A teacher can ask learner to go through the manual to understand the various steps and the procedures available.
Okay.
Theory portion is also given. A teacher can ask the learner to go through the theory, what exactly is breathing, how actually human respiratory system work. Now the animation is also given. Before doing that particular experiment, a learner can go through with the animated mechanism of breathing. Various resources, that is the extra help is also given, what a learner need to read extra.
Okay, it means we also have some tutorials.
Tutorials and some
Okay.
websites are given, some links of the websites are given,
All
books are
right.
mentioned.
Lovely.
So this is a add-on.
So this
So-
way you can get some extra references also.
Definitely. I would like to demonstrate this with an experiment. So basically this is a experiment of class 7, that is mechanism of breathing.
All right.
Okay, as you can see on the screen that various apparatus or various objects are given on the screen. So how a learner can use this experiment before doing that particular experiment in the physical classroom? A learner can go through, okay, these are the objects which are required to understand the mechanism of breathing. A learner can do that particular experiment in the virtual lab first and then redo that experiment in the physical lab. Okay, now what are the various steps I need to perform? First of all, click on the plastic bottle. Now click on the blade so that the plastic bottle will get cut into the two part. Now click on the cork so that the one side of the bottle get enclosed. Now click on the Y-shaped glass tube. Click on the balloons which get fitted on the Y portion of the funnel. Now click on the balloon so that it get fixed in the Y-shaped tube. Okay, now click on the hand so that it fitted into the plastic bottle. Click on the elastic band so that it get fitted into the plastic bottle. Now click on the hand. So I think you can observe what it was actually doing when that hand is stretching the elastic, air gets filled in the lungs. Now a self-assessment question is given. What are the balloons inflated? Why are the balloons inflated when we pull down the rubber sheet? Now why it actually happened? Because the space of the bottle decreases, so the air passes through the, the space of the bottle increases, so the air passes through the balloons increases. Now the another thing,
Yeah, they're releasing it.
yeah. Now this time, why do the balloons get deflated when the rubber sheet is pushed upward? Because the space of the bottle decreases and the air releases through the Y-shaped glass tube.
Yeah.
Now let's correlate both these phenomena, that is inhalation and exhalation.
Okay.
In inhalation,
Right.
the diaphragm is moving upward, the lungs get filled.
Yes.
And in acceleration, the lungs get squeezed and the air comes out.
So this is the phenomena that is happening inside our body.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll get up to the conclusion that the above experiments stimulate the respiratory system of human being. The balloons are represented at human lungs, which describes the inhalation and acceleration.
Right, lovely. I mean, I can clearly say now that virtual labs certainly, integrate what we generally do in these real physical laboratories, and it's an integrated way of learning. So, yeah, would you like to add on something to it?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so that's lovely, because you actually mentioned all the points very clearly, that even before starting an experiment, you prepare yourself that this is what you're expecting, this is how it should be done. There is definitely some sessions, pre-lab sessions and post-lab sessions. After performing the experiment, you can not only assess yourself, but you can also gauge the difficulty level, the place where you're standing right now. And of course, gradually you can increase the difficulty level of performing certain experiments as well. So that is very clear that how repeatedly when you start performing these experiments, you gain of course accuracy in them, and when you go to the real physical laboratories, you actually go prepared. You have better control over the variables, you know what the outcome is going to be like, and then it will be easier for you to record your data as well. Now, we are just talking about these things, and we have so far understood that they were very student-centric, learning has become quite easy. But when it comes to adopting it in pedagogy, that's a different ball game altogether. So, Nidhi ma'am, I would like to ask you that how can teachers adopt virtual labs in pedagogy?
Yes, it's not only for learners, but for teachers also, and teachers are also learners.
Yes.
So, teachers can utilize virtual labs in their regular classroom also. So, it's not necessary that we are talking about laboratory. So, we can use it only when we go to laboratory and we are about to begin the experiment. No, we can integrate virtual labs in our lesson plan, in our regular classroom lesson plan. How that we can do? We can follow certain steps. Like first of all, normally also when we are about to write our lesson plan, we think about the learning objective.
Yes.
That for this particular class, what are the learning objectives? What I want students to learn and understand.
Yes.
So we can think of that I want that my students should understand that not only animals but plants also move. So plants show movement. So by this you have identified learning objective. So once you have identified the learning objective, now you have to search in the virtual labs that which particular experiment, which particular lab is appropriate for this learning objective. So once you have identified, like I have identified, there is one experiment in class 10th, phototropism and geotropism. So these are two phenomena in which plants show movement. So that experiment can be shown if I want to explain this point to my learners that plants do show movement. Then I have to integrate it in my lesson plan. So when I am going to teach that, when I am going to introduce this thing, or I want to elaborate this thing, that plants do show movement, I can talk about phototropism and geotropism. When I am about to talk about this, when I am defining these phenomena, after doing so, I can show this experiment. So how I'll relate it, I'll show it by demonstrating this experiment itself. So I'll go to virtual labs, as we have already shown you how to reach there, how to search the experiment, we have already talked about it. So I am directly taking you to that particular experiment, that is phototropism and geotropism. So the teacher has already explained these phenomena. Now the same thing we are trying to demonstrate here, because it's about movement in plants. So here we have two sample plants. So first of all, I have taken plant 1 and then plant 2 in the test tube. Then we have to cover them. So I am sealing them. First of all, I am putting this cotton knob, and then I have sealed it with the tape. Then the same thing has to be done for plant 2. Now we have to arrange it in this burette stand. And whatever I have done, you can see all the instructions are written here. So if you are going to this experiment for the very first time, don't get nervous. Everything is written here. Just do what is written and you will perform the entire experiment. Along with that, here you can see at the top there is help icon. If you click on this help icon, the steps will appear one by one. As you proceed, you can click to help after every step you have performed, and you will get the guidance side by side.
So here you mean to say that if one has opened the page and one doesn't know how to proceed, still you're getting prompts and you're getting help. So everything will be explained to you. You don't have to be in a fix that what to next.
Correct.
Okay.
So even if you have not gone through the text document of procedure, you can still perform simulation
Wow.
because here the steps are already given, and that's why we talked about that the user interface is friendly.
Lovely.
So here we'll click on the next icon. Here you can see that the days are passing by and we are observing that the plants are showing movement. So while showing this, we can ask students to notice that in which direction the different parts of the plant are moving. And after they have observed and 4 days have passed, we will click on the next, and here there is a simple assessment which has appeared. So as we have already explained them what is phototropism and geotropism, we can perform, we can put answer for any one or any two of them, and after that we can call the student one by one to fill the remaining blanks. Even if they'll be wrong, it's okay, at least they'll try, they'll gather courage to come forward and think about it. And if you try to put the wrong answer, like I'm trying to put the wrong answer, it has not been accepted. So you have to put the right answer, and then only by this you are actually getting to know whether you are going wrong or you have understood it right. So there are 8 blanks. You can call students one by one repeatedly, and by that you can check also. So by this, what you are doing, you are explaining the concept. You have integrated the virtual lab experiment in your regular classroom lesson plan. So that has helped you in explaining this concept in easier way. So your work has also become easier by integrating this. So don't just wait for the practical lesson to be there in your timetable. You can integrate virtual labs every day in your every class.
You know, what is mind-boggling here is the fact that how minutely you can make the observations. You don't need a microscope. In general, when you're performing an experiment, and if you do not have a particular equipment, let's say a microscope, you can't really record the observations, and you can't really see the processes happening through naked eyes. But here in virtual lab, this is actually possible. And I have to say that after some sort of initial guidance, teachers are actually making their students Atmanirbhar here. You know, you don't need anybody to stand on your head all the time, and then you need the guidance and you need to move forward. Even if you don't know anything, you don't have to be in a fix, because there are tutorials for you, there is help, and you can't go wrong in a virtual lab because there are prompts coming. Because whenever you're trying to answer the questions, there are prompts coming, and they will let you know that you are right or wrong there. Now, no cycle of teaching learning is complete without feedback and assessment. It is very important to understand the capabilities of a child, and of course the difficulty level that a child can handle. So assessing a student is very important. Now, you know, we have seen that they are not just student centric but teacher centric also. But what about assessment part? Can these virtual labs be used as a tool for assessment?
Yes, definitely. And this should be used as a tool for assessment, because if we will simply ask them questions, so it will be very boring.
Yes.
And it will be stressful also. That I am going to take your test tomorrow, that will be paper pen test, I'll give you 5 questions, 10 questions, you have to answer. So they will be stressed. But if you will do side by side assessment, it will be easy for you also to get to know whether they have understood or not. And it will be easy for learners also, because they will not be stressed and they will enjoy, because here they are watching the simulation happening, or they are performing the simulation and they are becoming a part of it, and then they will be excited that I want to answer.
And it is not like the traditional method where we have performed the experimentation, then we are waiting for our vivas to happen. Here everything is happening simultaneously.
Correct. So we are not supposed to wait for the entire chapter to be over and then ask the questions, take the test of the entire chapter. We can go topic by topic, and that will actually enhance their understanding, because we will get to know that we need to work on this topic again. And they will they will understand the related further topics in a better way, because they have understood the particular topic explained
Yes.
Yes. So we can further talk about this, that there are different types of assessment: diagnostic assessment, formative assessment, and summative assessment also. But with the help of virtual labs, we can do diagnostic assessment and formative assessment. So how we can do diagnostic assessment? Diagnostic assessment is to diagnose that what information child already has. So it's not that students have got to know that plants move. They have not got to know for the very first time in class 10th. Because I have shown you experiment of class 10th, so that's why I am relating it with that class. So it's not that they do not know about it. So we can show this experiment, or we can, means before beginning this topic, or in the beginning of the topic, what we can do is, what the teacher can do is, they can show the animation or this perform this simulation, and they can ask, or they can simply ask the question first of all, that do you think that plants show movement? So students will start thinking, some will say yes, some may say no. Then if they say yes, then you can ask that do they move on their own, or is there any stimulus? If there is a stimulus, what is the meaning of stimulus? If there are multiple stimuli, what kind of stimuli are there? So these are certain questions which you can ask. By this you can get to know what all information they already have, and along with that you can plan your lesson, and this is how you are doing diagnostic assessment. So you have diagnosed that this much information they already have, and I need to begin from this point. So this is how diagnostic assessment can be done with the help of virtual labs. Then we can do formative assessment. So once you have explained the entire experiment, then you can ask them that like I have just shown while I was showing this experiment, you can show this. I have already discussed also that you can call children one by one and ask them to put whatever the correct answer is according to them, and ask them the reason also. It's not only asking the facts. You need to ask why, how. That's the point. That is what we are focusing in NEP 2020, and we should be doing it before that also. So teacher can ask related questions from that child or from other students, that if this particular child has written positive in this first place, what can be the reason for this?
Yes.
Like that you can ask for all the options. So by this, what are you doing? You are doing formative assessment, and you are engaging each and every child of your class, and they are not getting stressed also, as I have said, because they are not required to answer 5 to 10 questions in one go. They are answering only once or twice, and by that only you are getting to know whether they have understood or not.
True.
And along with that, we have self-assessment also. So here, like in the beginning also I had shown while we were navigating through this, here we have self-evaluation option. So you can show these questions and ask students to answer, and whether they are going right or wrong, you can help them. It's not that you are going to judge them or give them marks. You can just tell them that, you can first of all ask them that if you have chosen this answer, why you have chosen this, and then you can correct them at the same time. So what is happening? You are giving feedback side by side. Here also you are getting feedback. Along with that, the inputs from teachers is very important.
Absolutely.
So teachers will also give input that this is not the right answer, and the reason behind this is this. So by this, students are getting the correct information side by side. So this is how formative assessment can also be done with the help of virtual labs, and this will definitely make teaching learning very effective.
Absolutely. A child also feels motivated when he or she is asked about the reasoning, why you have done what you have done. And at the same time, a child is also able to express himself or herself. There's no dearth of time, because almost if every child is performing the same experiment in a virtual mode, teacher still has time in hand to ask them one by one. And there are like 4 questions related to one particular experiment. And as Nidhi ma'am told us, that you can call each child one by one, and you can ask that why this has happened, or why your answer should have to be correct, or why it was incorrect at the first place, whatever the case may be. Now, we all have seen the significance of virtual lab for teachers, that it is definitely helping them when they are adopting the same in pedagogy, in making assessment, in of course sharing the feedback, and also virtual lab is a great way to coordinate among the students and everything. But when it comes to students or the learners, we all know that it is beneficial, no doubt. We have of course read and studied the advantages in the very beginning itself. But is this really useful? Because in the modern day scenario, where we are focusing on skills, vocations, and we are focusing on hands-on experience, virtual lab is definitely, I would say, an icing on the cake. But Pastor ma'am, I would like to ask you, is it really useful for the learners? Why we are taking this initiative? Is it really benefiting and reaching the last mile learner?
Yes, ma'am, definitely. Basically, when we talk about a virtual lab, we all are different,
Yes.
and we all have certain individual difference. We all learn things according to our own pace.
Yes.
Some learn fast and some are slow learner.
Yes.
In a virtual lab, what a learner can actually do, he can learn a certain experiment at his or her own pace. He can do a particular experiment again and again until and unless a learner is able to understand that particular experiment completely. In virtual lab, the experiments which are present, they are formed on the basis of similarities, on the basis of differences. The concepts are basically formed by comparing two different phenomena. And also, in virtual lab, the environment is as such which is very immersive. A learner feels himself engaging throughout the experiment. There are various buttons, a learner do various things, a learner drag and drop various things. So throughout the experiment, a learner find himself engaged.
Yes.
So let's see this with an experiment.
Yes.
So basically, this experiment is of class 7th, how to identify parts of a flower and how to distinguish between unisexual and bisexual flower. As you can see, various types of flower are given. So a learner can basically understand on the basis of similarity and on the basis of dissimilarity. First, choose a particular flower.
And you have the option of choosing your favorite flower.
Yes, definitely. You can choose petunia, you can choose hibiscus. So
Right.
I am selecting hibiscus, that is our gulmohar.
All right.
Okay, now as you can see, our learner first try to understand what are the parts of a flower. So concept is basically developing. First a learner is trying to understand parts of a flower.
Right. And I think the very important point here is that here, all the parts are mentioned in English language, but they also have these parts mentioned in their own mother tongue. It's a work in progress, but we have different languages optional as well, right?
Definitely, definitely.
Okay, so you're placing the parts of the flower
Yeah,
in the different boxes as the
Yes.
name suggests, and then we will check our answers.
Yes, and also a learner can take help from that help button.
Oh,
If
yes.
a learner is confused and he is not able to understand
Right.
which part I need to place at which particular heading, then a learner can definitely take help from the help button.
Right.
Now, a learner need to dissect the flower. A learner will do labeling.
Yes, and here it means controlling the variable. See how smoothly and with such a finesse you have cut the flower to,
Yes, yes.
to basically assess its different part.
Yeah.
That is sometimes not possible in real physical laboratories.
Definitely, definitely. So this is a bisexual flower as because both the male and the female reproductive organ are present.
Yes.
And if a learner try to understand how a unisexual flower is, a learner can click on any another flower. Okay, so this is petal, this is stamen, this is sepal. Now let's dissect the flower. As the male flower is made up of anther and the filament.
And side by side, you are getting the details also with each
Yes,
step.
yes,
that
definitely,
Now, what is
definitely.
appearing in front of you? What does that implies? Everything
Yes,
is there.
Everything is there. So this is a unisexual flower. So in this way, you can understand how easy it is for a learner to understand any particular concept according to his need, according to his requirement.
Absolutely. So that is one beautiful experiment, because of course it was about flowers, and flowers are beautiful, I would say, living beings. But they are living beings, of course.
Definitely.
And now let's move on to another demonstration. Now we are left with little time, but I'm sure we can have one more demonstration.
Sure. So I'll take you to one of the experiments from class 7th, and here I have opened this. This is stomata in leaves. So all of us have studied about that stomata, about the structure of stomata. So you can observe the same here, and you can observe not only for one type of leaf but for different types of leaves. So here first of all you can see that there is a drop down menu in which there are 3 different leaves available. You can try with each and every one by one. I am starting from mango. So as I have already told that there is an help icon, you can click on that and all the steps will appear one by one, but I'll directly do these steps. So you can see that all the steps are shown, that you have taken the sample, you have added the mounting medium, then now you require to put cover slip. After that you have put it on the stage of the microscope, and then you have clicked on the eyepiece. Now here we can see that it is 40x, that means low power is shown, and whenever we put the slide under the microscope we need to adjust it with the help of coarse adjustment, and here also we have to do, because right now the vision is blur, the view is blur. So I am trying to make it clear with the help of this coarse adjustment. So here you can see that the structure of stomata is clearly visible. You can also do one thing, that you can change the power of the lens and then further adjust with the help of fine adjustment. So now you can see the structure clearly. You can move the slide also.
And so we can have the microscopic view as well here.
Yes. So you can get the microscopic view and then you can click on this. So you get the self-assessment part. So once you have studied about this experiment, you have gone through all the resources, background information, video, now you have all the information. So you can answer that which cells are these. So I am putting the answer. So like this, students can also do that, teacher can also show that, and when a child is doing it at home, learner can do the same experiment with each and every leaf, and after doing that learner can compare the results, whether the structure of stomata is similar or different. If the structure is same, whether other features of these leaves are similar or different. By this, multiple questions would arise in their mind, and this is how it will promote critical thinking skills.
Of course, not just critical thinking but also analytical thinking and creative thinking, because here our job is not just to make them read and learn what is there in their textbooks. Our job is to make them job ready in the future, and for that they need to enhance their problem solving skills, their critical thinking and analytical thinking skills also. So that was all about this session today, where we of course talked about virtual lab as a teaching learning tool for biology. We learned a lot. We learned a lot about how NEP 2020 is making its way through of course virtual labs in the curriculum, and how we can integrate it with regular teaching learning, and what are the benefits. And of course we had some demonstrations as well, though I'm really not willing to stop the session over here because I want to perform an experiment myself, but time is not allowing me. But it is very important to note here that more you practice, the better you get ready for preparing the experiments in real physical laboratories. They are your destination, end destination. So do not think that virtual labs are replacing real physical laboratories. We are talking about physical education. That means physical plus digital. And so both are equally important components of the same. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the session, it is a training program. You can participate as well. So let's have a look at the website. Yes, so let's take a look at this web page of CIET, because that is the place from where you will get the entire information and knowledge about the program. So this is ciet.ncert.gov.in. That's the website, and when you will open it, you will see this home page, and here you will have to go to the activities section. There is I guess some sort of error. So yes, when you go to the activities section, you click on the workshop and training option. Scroll down and you will see under current activity, this activity, online training on integration of virtual labs in teaching learning phase 3. Though we are saying again and again it's phase 3, but this session and this activity, assessment activity, is open to all. So today, as we mentioned that we talked about virtual lab as a teaching learning tool for biology. Tomorrow we will be talking about virtual lab as a teaching learning tool for physics. Here is a complete write-up that why we are having this training program, what are virtual labs, who all can participate. This is open to all. Program schedule is here. Well, here you will find the title and name of the resource persons, and by the end of the session we will upload the sessions on our YouTube. Well, they are streaming, live streaming is there, but you can also download these sessions from here. You can watch them for later references also. Now, how to participate? There are a few steps that you need to follow. Step 1 is to register yourself. Click the link or scan this QR code. Step 2, you have to watch all these live training sessions very attentively. These are the platforms on which we are streaming live for you. And then take up the online course and participate in assessment and get certified. So when we talk about assessment, this is not just taking the test directly. This is an online course and the details will be here. So these are the details, you know, that when this course will be open and what all videos you have to watch as per your assessment activity. And if you score more than 70% in the final assessment, you will get a certificate. So please make sure that you read these steps and guidelines so that you know which videos are for you and how you can participate in the relevant assessment. Step 4 is your feedback, and of course you have to submit your feedback by writing to us on diksha.training@cert.nic.in, or you can give us you can give us a call. And please make sure that you make us learn about your doubts and suggestions. Though the final feedback, because once this entire training program will be over, you can let us know, and the date will be announced soon, that when the link will be opened, when you can share your feedback. But for the moment also, day by day we are conducting these sessions, and we want regular updates so that we can improve upon on our forthcoming sessions. So this is the entire update for the training program and the assessment activity. I hope you enjoyed today's session as much as I did, and I'm sure that you will get the entire benefits, and now you know that how useful these virtual labs are. I think if you are not a student, even then as a parent, as a teacher educator, why don't you start experimenting on virtual labs? You get a hang of it, and then you can make your kids, make your children or students ready for the same, and of course you can incite that spark in them that this is something to look forward to, and this will help them from their examination point of view as well. And now for virtual lab as a teaching learning tool for biology under the umbrella theme of integration of virtual labs in teaching learning phase 3, it's time for me to thank both our experts who gave their wonderful and unique contribution to the session. So Nidhi ma'am, thank you so much. Dr. Upasana, thank you so much for your contribution to the session. And I'm closing the session over here. But before I leave, here is an important announcement for all of you. This is regarding an upcoming competition. What it is? Yes, the All India Children's Educational E-Content Competition is back for the year 2024-25. We invite teachers, teacher educators, students and independent educational e-content creators to submit their best e-content for the competition. For further details and the registration form, please visit the activities section of our official website www.ciet.ncert.gov.in or scan the QR code on the screen. The final day for submission is 31st of December 2024. And now the last thing for this segment, yes, the live schedule, what all is coming ahead. You can have a look. So we started the day with Yog Shakti. Of course, we are through with our session on virtual lab. In a short while from now, you can watch our session on teaching learning interventions at 12. 2 p.m. is the time for our session in Urdu, followed by a session in Hindi at 2:30. Where we will talk about Apna Apna Kaam. 3 p.m. is the time for a session of EVS where we will be watching about a river's tale. 3:30 p.m. is the time for a session in English, followed by a session of online training program where we are talking about the role of ICT in science education these days. 4 to 5 p.m. will be the timing, and last but not the least, 5 p.m. is the time for our session Sahiyo. With this, it's a wrap. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you, but you stay tuned for more educational programs. Namaskar.